Did you know that in many African cultures, love can sometimes be found in the most unexpected places, even behind a disguise? I know it sounds like something out of a storybook, right? But trust me, this tale is anything but ordinary. Today, we're about to unravel a story so full of intrigue, deception, and passion that it will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love. Picture this. A poor man, desperate and lonely, takes the most daring risk of his life by becoming someone he's not. But in the world of love and deception, nothing is ever as it seems. Our story begins with a man named Kofi, living in a small, remote village surrounded by vast, untamed nature. Kofi is the kind of man who blends into the background, the kind of man you wouldn't look twice at if you passed him on the street. But inside, he's a man of deep feelings, yearning for something more, something that seemed as unreachable as the stars. Every day, Kofi worked hard, but no matter how much he toiled, his reality was bleak. His clothes were worn, his home was simple, and his stomach often growled with hunger. But what hurt the most wasn't the poverty, it was the loneliness. In his village, wealth was everything, and without it, Kofi was invisible. The women he admired, the life he dreamed of, all seemed forever out of reach. Imagine waking up every day knowing that you're judged by what you don't have. Kofi saw it in the eyes of his neighbors, in the whispers behind his back, in the way people dismissed him without a second thought. Wealthy men strutted through the village market, draped in fine cloth, their pockets heavy with coins. They had it all: respect, power, and most importantly, love. Kofi watched them, feeling a gnawing ache inside him. His friends were getting married, building homes, starting families, while he remained alone, a ghost in the place he called home. As time passed, the weight of rejection began to crush him. But then, in his darkest hour, an idea took root. A wild, dangerous idea. If wealth was what made a man desirable, then what if he could pretend to be someone who had it? Driven by desperation, Kofi set his plan into motion. He began by carefully gathering clothes, a piece of fabric here, a forgotten shirt there, anything that would help him craft a new identity. He practiced speaking like the rich, mimicking their arrogance, their easy charm. Night after night, he rehearsed in front of a small, cracked mirror, his heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. The day finally came when he felt ready. He donned his disguise, transforming from the poor Kofi who was overlooked into a man who commanded attention. His heart pounded in his chest as he stepped out into the world, no longer a humble villager, but a mysterious, wealthy stranger. With his newfound confidence, Kofi walked through the village market, where the usual clamor and bustle felt different. This time the stares lingered on him, not with pity or disdain, but with curiosity and respect. And then, amidst the crowd, he saw her, Adisa, the village beauty. Adisa was known not just for her looks, but for her kindness, her wisdom, and the warmth she brought to everyone around her. Kofi had admired her from afar for so long, but never had he dared to dream that she would notice him. Yet here she was, smiling at him, engaging him in conversation. Their words flowed easily, and Kofi felt a spark of something real. But as much as he tried to enjoy the moment, a cold fear gnawed at him. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. How long could he keep up this act? What would happen if she found out the truth? Days turned into weeks, and Kofi's disguise seemed to work like magic. He and Adisa spent more and more time together, their bond growing stronger. But the closer they got, the more Kofi's fear grew. The village festival was approaching, a grand event where everyone, rich and poor alike, would come together to celebrate. For Kofi, it was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it was the perfect stage to solidify his new identity. But on the other hand, it was a dangerous game. The festival was a time when old friends returned to the village, and Kofi knew that the more people gathered, the greater the chance that someone would recognize him and shatter the illusion he had so carefully crafted. The night of the festival arrived, and the village was alive with music, laughter, and the glow of lanterns. Kofi felt the weight of his deception pressing down on him, but he pushed it aside, determined to enjoy the evening with Adisa. But fate is a cruel mistress. And just when Kofi thought he had it all under control, his past came back to haunt him. In the midst of the celebration, a familiar face appeared in the crowd, a friend from his childhood, someone who knew Kofi's true story. The friend's eyes widened in shock, then narrowed in suspicion. The moment Kofi feared had arrived. As the friend approached, Kofi's heart raced. He knew he couldn't run, not with so many eyes on him, not with Adisa by his side. The friend stopped in front of him, and in a voice loud enough for all to hear, he called Kofi out by his real name. The crowd fell silent, all eyes turning to Kofi, who stood frozen in the spotlight. The truth was out. His carefully built world was crumbling before his eyes. The moment had come. Would he continue the lie or reveal everything and risk losing the one person he had come to care for? In that moment, Kofi knew what he had to do. With a deep breath, he began to speak. He told the truth about his poverty, about his loneliness, and about the lie he had lived to try and find love. The crowd listened in stunned silence as Kofi bared his soul. His voice trembled, but he kept going, knowing that this was his only chance to make things right. He turned to Adisa, his eyes pleading for her understanding. He had deceived her, but his feelings for her were real, and he hoped, prayed, that she could see past the lie to the man he truly was. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Adisa stood still, her expression unreadable. Then slowly, she stepped forward. The crowd watched in anticipation, waiting to see how she would react. Adisa looked at Kofi, really looked at him, as if seeing him for the first time. And then she smiled. A smile that was full of warmth, understanding, and something that made Kofi's heart soar. She took his hand, and in that gesture, Kofi knew that she had forgiven him. She saw the man he truly was, not the one he pretended to be. Love, it seemed, had found its way through the lies. In that moment, Kofi realized that he didn't need wealth or a disguise to be loved. All he needed was the courage to be himself. So what do you think of this tale of deception, love, and redemption? Kofi's story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is be true to ourselves, no matter the risk. Have you ever felt the need to hide who you are to fit in or find love? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story moved you, make sure to check out our other videos for more incredible African tales. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.